Hello everybody and welcome back to Crusader Kings, where I've been looking around here and I've found at least 3 strange things that I don't exactly understand. 2 of them are good for us, and 1 of them is not good for us. So it's kind of a mixed bag there. Now, a huge amount of the problem that we've been having lately with our dangerous factions is absolutely because we're still tribal. We need to switch over to feudalism, but we're not going to do that until we have Casus Belli in 2 years. So we have to survive until then. Once we go feudal, we are already experiencing a big power trough by not going feudal, and I don't think that switching over to feudalism will create us a power trough at this point. I think that that will absolutely be a very good idea. So we're not going to do the grand sacrifice right now, but I want to talk about the weirdness that I found. Now, I just loaded up the game. Well, I can't say that. I restarted the game a bunch of times trying to figure out exactly what was going on here. But when I loaded up the save that I made after last episode, things felt a little different. It's been a number of days since I played Crusader Kings, and I didn't actually go back and check the numbers, but this feels different. Now, somebody could have easily left these factions, and that's possibly what happened there, is maybe somebody left the factions to, after I think I had the game paused when I stopped the recording, but I may have just not noticed that they left the faction right at the end. I don't know. It usually has a pop-up for that, though, so hard to say. But this faction is now just below the ultimatum. They also may have just recalculated the troop counts for some of this, now that I think about it, when I restarted the game. Maybe that has something to do with it too. Regardless, this faction is too weak to send an ultimatum, but only by 1%. And if anyone joins this before their discontent goes down, this faction is likely to fire extremely quickly. So that doesn't really buy us very much time there. This one, it did drop in power a little bit from what I remember, and this guy is a different leader. Now, it didn't drop enough in power to really be relevant, and they can still send their ultimatum in 1 month unless we can do something about this. The fact that this now has a different leader for some reason, perhaps the previous leader died, and maybe that wouldn't disband it, I don't know. Regardless, there's a different leader here, and he does have children that we can marry, so we can disband this independence faction. So there's this prince here, and this is the 3rd weird thing that I found. Check this out. Niece, courtier. But check this out. Unmarried daughter, unmarried daughter. Both of them are located in our capital. We are their liege. They are unlanded. And I have no idea why they don't show up in the marriage list. Furthermore, if we arrange marriage with them, he doesn't show up here at all either. This is all just within our court. Now, I actually didn't look at find spouse here. Maybe that's what we have to do. We can't find spouse with this guy, though, and it's much easier to find it from this menu than it is from our own personal menu. I suppose we could see if there's a way to do that, but this is all going to be adult characters, correct? Let's see, can we just search for the child's name? Prince Togli. Togli. First name matches Togli. Yeah, that works fine. Okay, so I thought the way that I was going to have to do this, and actually, because we know that this works fine and it will accept, I want to show you something else. Yeah, they can inherit inbred. I'm aware of this. I want to show you something else, though. It's kind of strange. So we know that this works, right? And that's all well and good. But I want to swap over to this guy. So let's just go into this view. There we go. Let's switch character here. I thought this would be the way that I would have to do this because of the menu issue, but check this out. If we go to, or rather, if we go to our liege here, and we arrange marriage with our son, no characters found. But if we go to the liege here, and we arrange marriage on the daughter, our son pops up. That's weird, right? I thought that I'd have to send it through like this, but I don't. So we're going to swap back to our main guy here. And now that we know that we can do it this way, this is a really weird way to do it. But, okay. I wanted Togli. First name matches Togli. Okay. It was this guy. Okay. So he will accept that. That's just a really weird thing, right? It feels like that shouldn't work that way. There's definitely some weirdness in how it's pruning those out, for sure. So we're going to disband this faction. That's very convenient for us, for sure. But all we have to do is survive a little while. Okay. They can send their ultimatum at any time, but they disband. Okay. Now the question becomes, what happens with these guys? If they end up rebelling, that's maybe okay. Yeah, we know they're going to create a new independence faction. And this is going to become an issue. Yep. This is brewing, as expected. And let's see here. Anything we can do with this lady? She is now the leader. Let's see. In fact, she was the old leader as well. So that's all well and good. Somebody joined this, though. And can we do anything about any of these? I'd rather not fight this war. Although, if we fight this one and not this one, that may end up being acceptable. I mean, we're not going to, like, allow that to happen or anything. But I just want to check through here. Anybody that we can just negotiate with? The answer to that is a solid no. I'm not shocked by that. Hang on. These are some of our direct vassals here. Fascinating. This is a good thing for us, actually. I think we want this to fire. We're going to have to keep an eye on this independence faction and see what we can do about it. In fact, we can get this guy out of this faction, I believe. All of his male children are betrothed currently. That's non-ideal for sure. Because we only have a daughter at this point. But I think we want to allow this faction to fire. We go ahead and do that. This is a problem, but this guy's now in charge. And this we can deal with. Okay. We're going to let that tick forward, and we'll reset it a bit later. We'll just keep an eye on this. Excellent. Give me that ultimatum. In fact, who is the current faction leader here? You are the faction leader. Where's your capital? Your capital is here. We're going to start raising troops. Okay. I'm not letting anyone out of prison at this time. Give me that sweet, sweet ultimatum. Any moment now. We have our men-at-arms. I think we're going to stop gathering here for the time being. Come on, ultimatum. This guy is now in charge. Can we deal with him? This is going to be complicated. Complicated indeed. Not rightful liege. Yeah, sure, fair enough. I mean, a lot of this, of course, has to do with our troop count, which is low because we are still tribal. That will be fixed soon enough, but we have to survive long enough to switch over to feudal. We need these guys to rebel, and then once that happens, I'm interested in seeing what happens here. I'm going to take these guys, split them in half, and I'm going to send these... Actually, we need to make sure that we are getting supplied. So something along the lines of this. Do we have a unit not moving here? I think we have 2 units not moving here. Okay. Is he ever going to send it? There we go. I will not be threatened. Okay. So, let's turn around. Get up here. We can no longer sway this guy. Yep, that's expected. Okay, so these guys... Threshold is now 55%. Okay. So that's all a thing. So, I mean, obviously we want to break this betrothal at some point. We don't want this to actually happen. And I'm going to do that now. And this guy has nothing that we can work with. Okay. Well, that's highly unfortunate, to be sure. But I'm hoping that we see a change here in leadership. We'll see. We're going to head in over here. 163%. We did see a change in leadership. This guy is also useless to us. Completely and totally useless. Our wife was just murdered. That's reasonably convenient. Okay. What can we do with that? Right, this guy was the guy that our son was betrothed to. We can do this. Get him out of that faction. That'll disband this faction. So I'm not interested in doing that for another couple of months. Okay. So we're moving our troops up here. Eliminating this force. No problem. Grouping these guys together. And we got a capture there. We are working on a siege. I'm going to go ahead and raise up additional troops down over here. And I know that we're not married. That is deliberate right now. We're just using as much time as we can here before they can send this ultimatum and we disband this force. That's what we're doing. Okay, we're sieging up here, but we should really be moving these horse archers and these guys out of here. These need to be moved down elsewhere, where they can actually do some fighting. Over here would be non-terrible. We're going to send them over. And we need to keep a hawk-like eye on this independence faction. That is very, very important right now. So it looks like the changes that happened weren't very impactful, really. It was just a temporary fluctuation, it would appear. I'm okay with that. Bought us a little bit of time, but not a whole lot, and we're not shocked by this. So we're waiting until this goes down to 1 month. There we go. And now we're going to do this. We're going to marry her ourselves and get him out of that faction. Excellent. That will disband that faction while we are working on dealing with this one. Now, they're going to recreate the faction. That's obviously something that they're going to do. We're going to split this in half and take these guys over to here. And let's just stop gathering with these guys and just head on in immediately. Okay, we've finished this siege here. I'd like to head down over here and continue sieging. Okay, betrothed can marry. This is our sister marrying this guy. I feel like this is necessary. So we'll do that. Cement that one in. Okay. We'll keep an eye on this faction. Let's see what we want to do with that. Yep, they are building back up. We knew this would be a thing. But the more times we do this, the less likely it is that people will join this faction. So that is great. We're starting some slow sieges down over here. We're fast sieging over here. And yeah, they are sieging as well. We knew that that was going to be a thing. We're at 10% right now in terms of war score. And this guy we can deal with. Let's make sure that he remains the faction leader before we make any plans for that. But so far, so good. They're 95%, which is fine. Are there any other factions brewing? These populists are thinking about it. I don't care about populists. Okay. This guy is now in charge. Can we handle him? That's a negative. Okay. We're above our vassal limit, which is a problem. However, desires the Duchy of Gurgen. Okay, where is that? Nope, that's fine character. Fine title. Gurgen. Duchy of Gurgen. Over here. This is held by our vassal. This is fine. We're going to grant him the Duchy of Gurgen. Is this correct? I don't believe so. Where is that duchy? This one. Okay. And this guy holds the Duchy of Gurgen. Okay. So that boosts his opinion by us, or of us rather, dramatically. That's good. I'm also going to send him a gift for 41 additional opinion. That puts us positive. And what else do we want to do? He's in another war. We'll see what he wants to do here. Now, he's not likely to leave this faction because of this, but what he might be willing to do... He's also a leper, and he might die soon. But what he might be willing to do is, if we can get this disbanded, he might not rejoin it, which would be huge for us. I would be very, very pleased to see that. So we need to make our way down and fight some of these guys, but realistically, we've got some slow sieges that we're working on, and I think that's fine for right now. We can adopt feudal ways in about 14 months. That's going to be helpful for us, to be sure. So we're keeping an eye on this. Ah. This guy just died of old age. Okay. This guy wants to be on the council. I don't care about his skill at Spy Master right now. I'm putting him in. Okay. He's actually the most qualified powerful vassal because he's the only powerful vassal not on the council. So that boosts his opinion up a little bit more. Probably not enough to get him out of that faction. What else can we do? Other than hope he dies? I mean, there is that. He could die in the next 4 months. He's in another war. What other options are there? There aren't a ton. That minus 20 tribal is very painful for us. That's for sure. How are we doing on these sieges? These are going exceptionally slowly. We need to go fight. These guys can continue their siege. That'll finish up. Any moment now. There we go. And then they can come down over this way. They're going to delay us. That's rude. Let's see. We're currently exalted among men. If we create these empire titles, I believe they will be handed out with the high partition. I kind of want to check that. So currently we wouldn't lose anything, right? And that is because we only have the one male child. So we can't actually check it right now. What we could do is only 5 from not rightful liege. That's not super helpful. Okay. We could drop down our tribal authority temporarily. That does mean that that's going to delay us switching over to feudalism pretty dramatically. And I don't think that's worth it. Okay. Other options. We can fight these guys and bring in a powerful ally to help us fight them. Like, hypothetically. Well, this is unhelpful. Okay, find spouse, perhaps? There we go. Alliance power. This is within our realm. This is not an alliance at all. Oh, I wanted alliance power. There we go. Yeah, this isn't an alliance. Awkward. Very awkward indeed. Apparently we can't get an alliance. Okay. So that's not really a good option. What we really need... They're matrilineally married. What we'd love to do is see something like this. Unfortunately, this is broken again. This wouldn't get us an alliance anyway. Grandchildren don't count. But if this guy were to die in the next 3 months, then that would work. Will he die in the next 3 months? My guess is no. But we can find out. I'm going to start raising up some troops over this way. And we're going to head over here and fight these guys. That's going to be very necessary for us. Okay. Where is their war leader at? In his capital down here. Okay. Sounds good. Well, we'll fight these guys. We will win this. This is not a problem. And as far as this independence faction goes, we can probably fight them, realistically. But I don't want to fight them at the same time as we're fighting these guys. That is for sure. Okay, so we won this. That was expected. And we'd love to see this guy leave the faction or die, one or the other. I mean, they would both have the same fundamental, what's the word I'm looking for? Result! That's it. Above our vassal limit again. What is happening with that? They destroyed their duchy title. Well, we're going to recreate it. That'll net us some prestige working towards living legend, and that will be granted out to this lady. There. Stop destroying your duchy titles. Okay. So most of their troops are up over here. And we're making our way over, but it's taking us a long time to get there when we've got this brewing. There's no doubt about that. What can we do about this guy? There's just very little. Our options are incredibly limited in dealing with this guy because he only has the 2 children and only the 1 living sibling. How do we want to handle this? I'm going to give that some thought. We definitely don't want this independence faction to fire. I'm going to put a cut in here, and next episode, I'll have a plan for how I want to deal with the Independence faction. Hopefully. Fingers crossed. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and I will see you all next time.